Hi.
Man, I'm going through a dry spell, creatively speaking. Let's talk about Immaculate. Before I shove my unsolicited thoughts down your throats, please remember this is all in good fun. I don't mean anything I say, and as always, spoilers ahead. Disclaimer, I will attempt to not talk about Sydney's apparent beauty. I said I will try, so if you men of culture have clicked on this video, you better click off now. This ain't gonna be that kind of show. I was working on another project and it just wasn't coming together well enough, so I needed a palate cleanser, and who better than a modern day Marilyn Monroe? I'm not going to explain myself, but I have waited a long time for this movie to be out on streaming. I wanted to see if Sydney really had range, and this role was definitely something I didn't expect her to step into. This was a weird movie to say the least. It's definitely a horror film, but I'm not sure in which category to put it in. Sci-fi horror?
That's crap.
Supernatural horror?
Crap. Wait, I got it.
Supernatural sci-fi horror.
Genius.
What are you looking for, a raise? Get out.
The basic premise of this movie is Sister Cecilia has moved from Detroit, Michigan,
just outside of Detroit, Michigan.
all the way to this Italian forest because, and get this,
Yeah, my parish closed.
girl could have gone to any other 49 states in the country but chose an Italian convent in an Italian forest. So anyway, she's here now and she hasn't learned a lick of Italian, obviously. So, obviously, she is in a fucked up convent, right? It's dark, the floors and the doors creak because, again, obviously, it wouldn't be a scary movie otherwise. Cheap jump scares, an elusive nun in a corridor, you know, the usual. By the way, does this work on anyone? It's a serious question. Do these tactics really scare people? Or do horror movies really just rely on jump scares to momentarily scare the audience? Like, I don't really understand it. I can't watch horror movies, especially the supernatural kind. They just aren't believable to me. Anyway, the convent is all creepy and like after a week of being there, she's pregnant. Who knows how? The movie never really explains it, but I'm guessing this wasn't really the point. Horror movies aren't really based upon reason. They're just supposed to be scary, I guess, which is why it isn't my cup of tea. But I digress. So she gets pregnant without having any relations with a man, and the convent hails it as a second coming of Mother Mary and Jesus, and she is revered and adored because she is carrying the second coming of Christ. All well and fine up until this point, but things soon turn sinister as Cecilia finds out the truth about the convent. Turns out that Father Sal was a geneticist and was running experiments to basically create Jesus. He took bone fragments and blood from the nail that was allegedly the same nail that pierced Christ, and he found a way to break the genetic code and was able to impregnate Cecilia. Cecilia's mission, should she choose, is to get herself the fuck out of the convent by any means necessary. She goes through hell, unalives the priest that did it to her in a seemingly, I said seemingly, poetic moment when she drives a nail that was considered the one used to nail Jesus to the cross right into his neck. I mean, that takes some serious arm strength. And the girl does it. She escapes through the catacombs underneath the convent and also manages to unalive the abomination she delivers right after screaming straight at the camera for what seems like 45 minutes. Yep, that's all there is to the plot, at least all that's worth mentioning. All in all, a very lackluster movie. To me, don't come at me in the comments. It wasn't sci-fi and neither was it supernatural. It was a very sanitized horror film, for lack of a better terminology. As far as I see it, nothing of significance really takes place other than Cecilia managing to escape the horrors of the Knot House convent. So maybe it was a captive thriller horror, if there is such a genre. I really couldn't believe her as a nun too. It was weird because she spoke in this voice, which is so distracting.
There was this part of the Saginaw River that would always freeze over.
Like, what nun would talk in a voice like this? If a nun spoke to me in this voice, I'd be having some thoughts, alright? This is an I wanna fuck you voice. Like, stop it. This is not that kind of a movie, Sydney. I mean, Cecilia, come on. Don't put those thoughts into my head. What I was gonna say is, that voice and that accent does not belong on a nun. And if any nun out there is behaving this way, stop it. Get some help. You're confusing the boys and their fathers. Can you imagine the parent-teacher conferences? All the dads showing up for meetings all of a sudden? Like they care about their children? That's all I have, really. Does this movie scare you in any way? Not talking about the jump scares, but the plot. Like they're literally trying to make another Christ. It didn't scare me one bit because they never really talked about the implications of Christ coming back. And when he was delivered by the end of the movie, it did not sound anything like a human. And his life was cut short, which only prompts me to one conclusion. It wasn't Jesus or anything godlike. For all we know, that nail did not even belong to Jesus, and it could have been one of the other guys that was strung up, you know? Who knows? Something to think about. Anyway, this is my time. Like, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I already have a library of previous uploads as well. I'm sure you'll love the hell out of this one. Bye, bitches.